be, I thought that was short for Archibald, which it seems sort of British to me,
right.
But apparently not.
I mean, I'm just going to say that for people of a certain age in America, like you and me, Archie is either a comic book character or Archie Bunker. Now, you're not burdened by that in Britain because they don't know anything about the comic book or Archie Bunker, and they don't know about Archie Manning, so you're not going to put an 18 jersey on the kid either. But Archie, I don't know. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Celtics could go out, Georgia loading up its schedule, and Brian Windhorst joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the complete laydown of the Philadelphia 76ers last night, losing by 36 in Toronto. Ben Simmons, who has been a ghost in this series, had 7 points. J.J. Redick had 3. And Joel Embiid, who may as well wear a hospital gown, had 13 points and 8 turnovers. While leaving the court, Embiid reportedly told Raptors mascot Drake, quote, "I'll be back for game 7, unquote." Wilbon, is that how you see it?
You know, Tony, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm gonna take Toronto in the series, but winning game 7 at home, and this is what happens. We see this year after year, decade after decade. One team gets embarrassed, particularly if it happens on the road, and they got to go back to Philly, where the people are just going to come to their homes and boo them, and they're going to get angry, and they're going to have resolve, and they're going to listen to the coach, and they're going to study video, and they're going to come out, and they're going to play, and they're probably going to beat Toronto by double digits, and they'll go back to game 7. Mascot named Drake, you are just leaning to get a beat down when you talk about Drake that way.
Isn't he on the sidelines all the time?
You called him a mascot.
I'm sorry. Is he he's part of the team, right?
Like he's a furry little animal and not the best-selling artist in the world.
I meant it in the best sense, only the best sense. And you might be right about Philadelphia. You might be. I just want to talk about Kawhi Leonard for a second, because he's been the star of this series. They didn't need a lot of scoring last night, so he got 21 points, but he also got 13 rebounds. When he guards Ben Simmons doesn't score. When he moves over to Jimmy Butler doesn't score. That guy has been absolutely great. And I know, Mike, that you've said a number of times that you think that the starting 5 on Philadelphia is the best starting 5 in basketball. They got 60 points.
Best, other than Golden State.
60 points last night, and Toronto starters got 93. So, I mean, it's so hard to make the case. Even if Philadelphia wins 6, it's so hard to make the case for 7, right? It's hard. And Toronto's going to win.
I don't know that it's hard to make the case, Tony. These series change. The personality switches wildly. You know, there's no particular momentum. I don't know. Look, Philadelphia stunk last night.
They did.
That conclusion everybody's already drawn. But I don't know that I want to go
say this about Drake. Drake was doing this, and making fun of Embiid, and I did like that. I did like that.
He was. Tony, we've got the biggest game and the biggest NBA storyline playing out just across, that other bridge across the bay, where the defending champions once again are being pushed into a corner by the Houston Rockets. We're bombarded annually with a stat about 82% of Game 5 winners going on to win a 7-game series. The Warriors lost Game 5 a year ago, but took 6 and 7. So, Tony, do you see history repeating itself, or are the Dubs in a must-win tonight?
So, I'm not interested at all in last year unless you tell me, that somebody's going to get injured and not be able to play in 6 and 7, which is what happened last year. So I'm not interested in that. Of course, this is a must game. You're looking at Golden State, a team that you're expecting them to then go on the road and win at home when they would have lost both at home and on the road, right? I mean, so there would be no reason to believe that. I think this is an absolute must-win for Golden State, and I think you do too.
I do too, Tony. And throw in the emotional part of this, which is a huge story here, of Oracle, the arena. I mean, the home, the last old school arena in basketball. And the players love it. The fans love it. There's a love affair between what happens there and the team.
And why are they leaving? Why are they leaving? Oh, okay. The answer to all your questions is money.
I went on a tour yesterday, by the way. There's nothing like that place, the new one. There's nothing like it. But anyway, the Warriors have to win, Tony. They can't count on going to Houston on.
They took you on a tour?
Yes.
Did you sign up for seats?
Maybe.
Like a personal seat license situation?
That means I might be near that bridge all the time.
Our friend Frank Isola writes in The Athletic that LeBron James is not only good with Tyronn Lue coaching the Lakers, He's also okay if Lou brings Tom Thibodeau along to be a defensive specialist. Well, LeBron was openly criticized last season for not playing any defense.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll want the grind of playing for a maniac like Thibodeau?
I'm not agreeing that Thibodeau's a maniac.
Well,
I love Tom. No, LeBron ain't gonna want to play for Tibbs. I mean, look, I hear from great former players all the time. I mean, the greatest of them. The only thing close to a criticism they have of LeBron is he never been coached hard. That's what they say, openly.
Because he doesn't want to be coached.
Hard.
Yeah, don't want it.
One icon, I won't mention a name, says LeBron has never submitted to hard coaching.
No, he doesn't want to be coached.
That's what the greatest players of all time believe.
Right.
Thibodeau coaches hard, baby.
Right.
He coaches hard. And LeBron will think that defensive game plan that Tibbs draws up, it'll be good for the others. But I can't see him. I can't see him. I think it'd be good if he did it. I think it'd be great. I think it would enhance what LeBron already does. But I don't see that.
No, I agree with you 100% that if you bring in Tom Thibodeau, LeBron says, coach them. Don't coach me. I'm LeBron James.
Right.
I don't get coached by you or anybody else. I'm wondering why Thibodeau would do that. He's a head coach. I don't really understand. I mean, does he want to be in the seat if they fire Tyronn Lue and then LeBron won't listen to him anyway? To me, sit down, wait for another head coaching job somewhere. In the meantime, do 3 times a week on the jump or PTI. That's all you have to do. I don't really get this. I don't.
Tony, I get how it sounds good, but then when you go back to it and just ask yourself, okay, how many coaches have really had a little something with LeBron and survived it? I would say T. Lue's the only one.
No, he doesn't take any coaching. He doesn't want coaching.
We're 118 days from the start of the college football season, but it's never too early for breaking schedule news. Straight from the SEC of all places, Georgia is leading the way to upgrade the soft underbelly of the SEC non-conference schedule. Kirby Smart and the Dogs are going to get ambitious by replacing the Samfords of the world with the likes of Oklahoma, Clemson, and Texas. Tony, wise move by Smart to schedule this many non-conference heavyweights?
I don't know if it's wise. I think it's a very, very good move. They want 3 powerful non-conference opponents. In 2015, before Smart got there, they had Louisiana Monroe, Southern, and Georgia Southern. So they had the Southerns completely covered. Here's, I think, the long-range thinking. I think that the college playoff will eventually go to 8, and then you're going to have to include some non-conference winners, right? And so you look at how do you choose them, and maybe you look at how basketball chooses them, that they look at strength of schedule. And so Kirby Smart would be positioning a really great program like Georgia into a 2-loss-and-in situation, right? That's got to be his thinking.
The key here is you can sustain 2 losses, and there will regularly be, particularly from the SEC. Because let's face it, their conference schedule is so difficult.
Yeah.
They always get the benefit of the doubt with whoever's in that room. And so now you say, okay, they got 2 losses, so what? They played Oklahoma. They played,
Texas,
UCLA.
Notre
They
Dame.
played Texas.
Yeah.
So, and home, not neutrals. Not we play at the Mercedes-Benz
not
Atlanta
Jerry
Stadium.
World. No.
You play on campus.
Yeah.
You play in Austin.
I agree.
You play in Norman.
There's another part to this, Mike.
It should work.
College attendance has actually gone down 7 of the last 8 years. So if you're Alabama, if you're Georgia, and you schedule the Citadel, you don't fill the gym. So this is a way to make money. They got to make money.
Yeah, but Tony, you better keep winning.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll get rid of you if it backfires.
Oh, sure. Mike Fiers threw the second no-hitter of his career last night as Oakland beat Cincinnati 2-0. Fiers needed 131 pitches and was bailed out by center fielder Ramon Laureano going over the wall to bring back a homer in the 6th inning. Fiers' career record is 57-58. His ERA is 4.11. That's the 3rd worst of any pitcher ever with multiple no-hitters. Wilbon, do you think that these numbers diminish Fiers' accomplishment in any way?
I don't know the numbers. I don't care about the numbers. I heard you just say them. I know there's a geek factor and a certain percentage of people who care about baseball care only about the numbers. But thankfully, to this day, to this point, that number's still low. People hear no-hitter and their ears perk up, particularly the non-geeks. So no, and every no-hitter is supported by, at some point, almost everyone, by great defense. Wasn't it Mark Burley of the White Sox when he did that perfect game? He had a guy make a much better catch than that behind him to preserve a perfect game. So, no, I don't believe any of that.
No, I agree with that. And I mean, as Earl Weaver always said, momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher, which gives you the opportunity. Whenever you get out on the mound, you can have a great game. It doesn't matter what you did in your last start. It doesn't matter what you did in your next start. Homer Bailey has multiple no-hitters. His record at the moment, I think, is 80 and 90. The greatest no-hitter of all time was Don Larson in 1956 in the World Series. And his career record is 81 and 91. Guys like Roger Clemens never had a no-hitter. Greg Maddux, I don't think ever had a no-hitter. Steve Carlton never had a no-hitter. So the magic is still in a no-hitter. There's been 300 of them. And your numbers to that point don't mean anything.
They don't matter.
They don't.
And your subsequent numbers don't matter. You had a no-no. By the way, have you ever seen a no-hitter in person?
Nolan Ryan saw it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen like 7 one-hitters. I don't have a no-no. That game was 15 miles away, but, you know.
No, you're not going to a baseball game in Oakland. You're going to stay out all night and drink.
Probably not.
Let's take a break. Coming up, is this the last run of the Warriors as we know them? We're going to ask Brian Windhorst.
And the Celtics could go.
Going to win. I get the Warriors, but why are the Rockets so particularly confident?
They just believe in math, Tony. They believe that their style of play will ultimately add up. And they're sitting here looking at this series and they're going, look at all of these minutes that the Warriors starters are playing. They're just so much taxing those frontline guys. And right now, Eric Gordon is outplaying Klay Thompson. And right now, P.J. Tucker is outplaying Draymond Green. I did not think that would be the case over multiple games. And the Rockets think that they have the momentum on their side. I could look at it the exact opposite and say, Steph Curry's never missed this many threes in 4 consecutive playoff games. He's bound to hit a bunch in a row. Klay Thompson, the same thing. So both sides could sit here and say, we think the trend is in our favor.
And Tony, don't forget, Houston figures they actually won last year whenever Chris Paul was on the floor, so they think they have that working for them as well.
Didn't win.
Draymond Green, as you know, Brian, says the Warriors can fix what's wrong. They have answers to their problems. Do you think it's that simple a fix?
Well, they're looking at all of the hustle points, basically, that P.J. Tucker is creating, and they say it's just a matter of matching P.J. Tucker's effort level. And that's why Draymond is so confident in saying it, Michael, because he thinks he's the guy who can slow him down and solve him. They haven't been able to do it, though. This is what P.J. Tucker does. It's why he's in the league. His ability to create those extra possessions. And really, the rebounding has been the tail of the series. The team that's won the rebounding battle has won the game. And that's an old-school thing to say for two new-age teams that rely on shooting and possessions and overall, three-pointers. But it's been old-school, old-fashioned, who gets the loose ball. It has been the difference. And I expect tonight that will be something that both teams will be talking about in the minutes leading up to the tip-off.
Remember game one? Right after game one, there was all that stuff about the officiating, completely unfair to Houston, and that disappeared quickly. Are we now to believe that everything's okay with officiating? We're never going to hear from this again.
Well, I'm very happy that both sides have backed it off a lot. There's been a little bit of complaining. We haven't seen any of the recent audits that Daryl Morey's put together. I don't know if on Daryl Morey's audit, the charge that James Harden got away with at the end of Game 4 was turned into the league. I think he was happy with the way that no call went the Rockets' favor. So I've been relieved that hasn't been so much officiating. Also, the officials have done a good job. There was a moment in the last series, actually a couple of moments, where two players got nose-to-nose with each other. Draymond Green at one point gave a little shove to Chris Paul, and the officials, had discretion. They didn't call double technicals. They let it go. So I think in addition to the teams, the officials are coming in a little more open-minded. But I'm going to tell you guys, this is Game 5. Scott Foster is in the rotation. I think we will see him again if this gets to Game 7. So just keep that in mind for that little thing that's out there.
Brian, I'm going to expand this a little bit and look forward. Because you're chronicling it already, free agency is just around the corner. The Warriors, because of Kevin Durant, are neck deep in this. Do you see this possibly as the Warriors' last run as we know this team?
Oh, you want me just to go ahead and say it, Michael? You want me to go so far as to say that tonight could be the last game in Oracle Arena for Kevin Durant as a Warrior?
Just lead me in that direction a little
Oracle
bit.
Arena for the Warriors. Look, I'm just going to take you back to 2010, where it was a 2-2 series, and the favored number 1 seed Cavs were playing the underdog number 4 seed Boston Celtics. LeBron laid a dud in Game 5, and that was the last game LeBron played as a Cav, at least in that run. He came back later. So my eyes are wide open to what the uncertainty of the offseason would be. I don't think that anybody wearing gold tonight even wants to consider that. But let's just be real. At some point, whether it's when they're holding a trophy here on this court or somewhere else, or they're staring at an upset, they're going to have to deal with the reality that Kevin Durant is going to be a free agent. And the entire league is waiting for it. The Clippers, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Nets, they're all sitting there on the edge of their seat rooting for the Rockets tonight. If you think it's any other way, you don't know what's going on.
Now, we'll get you out of here on this one. We know that you had a ticket for Mike Fiers' no-hitter last night. That must have been a night you'll remember for the rest of your life, right?
Well, Tony, you can appreciate this. I was tired. I flew in late. I didn't get much sleep from the night before. I don't think Wilbon slept at all. I was with Wilbon yesterday afternoon. He was barely awake.
That's true.
I don't think I would have stayed. Even if I had gone to the game with a guy with a 6 ERA who couldn't break a pane of glass, I would have said in the 4th or 5th inning, I can't stay, especially because they had a delay because of the lighting. So I actually have a clear conscience of it because I know I never would have made the end of it.
So you didn't even show up for pitch 1?
No, but when I saw there was a lighting delay, I said, boy, was I smart not to go to that game when I went to bed.
Very
and I
smart.
woke up to a text
Good
from
job out of you,
Wilbon
Brian.
saying, I can't believe you got to see a no-hitter.
Good job.
I was so excited for him last night.
Good job. Only 131 pitches, too. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Let's take one last break, but still to come, Tony Romo tees off tomorrow in a PGA Tour event. Does he have any real hope of making the cut?
And have the Nuggets established that they're better than the Blazers? Or did they just have a great night last night?
I think I would have gone to see, I need a running back and I need a safety. He put both of them out on the field, and Ronnie Lott tackled better than Marcus Allen. Since they're both in the Hall of Fame, that seems to have worked out.
You know what hasn't worked out? Football has no more Ronnie Lotts. Ronnie Lott's like the last truly great, hard-hitting safety, and the league is not better off for it.
Happy anniversary, Willis Reed. On this day 49 years ago, May 8th, 1970, the captain, number 19, came out onto the Madison Square Garden floor with a severely bruised thigh and in his first 2 shots against Wilt Chamberlain and the Los Angeles Lakers. And the adrenaline rush from that for every person in the stands, like me, and every Knicks player on the court was enough to propel the Knicks over the Lakers and give the Knicks the first of only 2 NBA championships ever.
Yeah, you gracious New Yorkers, don't ever mention the fact that Walt Clyde Frazier had 39 and 16.
He was good. Happy trails to the Dallas Stars. St. Louis native Pat Maroon beat Ben Bishop for a goal in the second overtime to lift the Blues to the Western Conference Finals and eliminate the Stars. Bishop had stopped 52 of 53 shots up to that point. Wilbon, you weakly refused to make a pick on this game. I boldly took the Blues. Redeem yourself and pick a winner in tonight's Game 7, Avalanche at Sharks.
I'm going to take the Avalanche on the road. I wasn't weak. I hate those teams. Those are the teams that are rivals with my team. I wanted them both to lose.
Weak.
So I'm taking the Avalanche on the road.
That was truly weak. It was a push. It was awful.
Yeah,
Let's go to the big finish. The Nuggets blew out the Blazers last night. What did you notice?
Well, Tony, I noticed that Portland, who I love the Trailblazers, they look tired. I mean, the 4 overtime game seems to have had an effect. The previous series, an effect. It's just a lot. It looked weary to me. I hope I'm wrong. The Celtics try to stay alive tonight in Milwaukee. You like the chances for Boston?
No, I don't. I mean, they could win. Certainly, they've got talent. I think they're not as good as the other team, despite the presence of the basketball genius, Kyrie Irving. Paul George had rotator cuff surgery. Russell Westbrook had ligaments repaired in a finger. What does that tell you?
That's a lot of wear and tear, Tony. And you hope that they recover fully from that, because those are great players and they have a great team that we like to see in the postseason. John Daly's been approved to use a cart at the PGA Championship because of his arthritis. You okay with that?
It's not like Casey Martin, who had a congenital disease. I mean, his leg isn't, if he can't play walking, I'm not sure about this. Last one, Tony Romo plays the Byron Nelson starting tomorrow. You think he'll make the cut?
No. Accomplished pros are going to miss the cut. Tony knows how difficult this is. Tony Romo, I'm rooting for him, but I can't see that
Out
happen.
of time. Try to be better than next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
Kevin Green of Greensboro, what do you got for me?
Now on SportsCenter, Warriors Rockets Game 5. Stephen A. Smith and Michael